Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shills, desolators, peasants, vassals. I'm a useful idiot. Welcome. And let's go back to Syria one more time and talk about the presence in Syria that nobody really wants to talk about. And of course, that is Israel. And Israel has had quite a presence in Syria since the beginning of the hostilities in this so-called civil war in Syria. And no surprise that Israel, pretty much like a lot of other nations, of course, is taking advantage of the fact that they're kicking Syria while they're down, taking advantage of the chaos to further their own agenda. Everyone else is doing it, and Israel is doing it too. Although it's multi-layered, kind of like the way it is with Turkey, because we have a lot of instances where Israel seems to be collaborating and supporting ISIS and or Al Qaeda in Syria, which is interesting considering the public narrative about terrorism. So once again, the hypocrisy of all nations, Israel being one. Palestinian fighters are terrorists, and Al Qaeda and ISIS fighters are freedom fighters in Syria, toppling this despotic regime. But anyway, let's look a little closer at the figures here. Well, first of all, the number of Israeli airstrikes has been sporadic but constant. We had a couple more just outside of Damascus this last month, and this follows a long line of Israeli airstrikes, usually going after convoys, depots, air defense systems, warehouses, Hezbollah positions, and oftentimes Syrian positions as well. And they've gotten closer and closer to Damascus. But they had airstrikes in January 2013, May 2013, July 2013, October 2013, January 2014, February 2014, December 2014, January 2015, April 2015, August 2015, October 2015, November 2015, December 2015. So almost once every month for a couple of years now. So a total of officially of 18 Israeli airstrikes within Syria. So interesting that we have, again, to look at all the political wrangling that's done. For example, when Turkey shoots down a Russian jet, and they talk about invasion of airspace, but there isn't really a whole lot of discussion of how much Israel has violated the airspace of Syria. But now we also have, as I've discussed before, we have this coordination between Israel and Russia in Syria, and it's interesting that they're both coordinating their strikes. But once again, we have Russia going after ISIS and Al Qaeda, and then we have Israel going after certain Syrian positions, but mostly going after any Hezbollah units they can find and any weapon systems they think may be headed towards Lebanon. But we also have these stories filtering in, and this is where it gets complicated. This last November, an Israeli military colonel was captured with ISIS in Iraq by the Iraqi military, and they actually have his name, rank, military codes, and numbers. And so anyway, to be capturing an Israeli officer embedded with ISIS in Iraq is very telling. And then we also have reports just this last month in December of Israeli commandos working with ISIS. And then, of course, the repeated reports over the last 2 years. The new reports have come out even just recently talking about the Israelis helping provide humanitarian aid and hospital service, particularly in the Golan Heights, to ISIS and Al Qaeda members. And once again, for those who are out watching alternative press or watch the useful idiot videos, this is nothing new. It's been documented for the last 2 years that Israel has been helping both Al Qaeda and ISIS in the Golan Heights area. And then we also have multiple reports from multiple sources over the last couple of years and in the last few months detailing Israeli soldiers in contact with ISIS. So none of this is really new. And in fact, last July, Israel even admitted that they were helping Syrian fighters. So this is no conspiracy. This is no rumor. This is documented and admitted by Israel. So anyway, we have this very interesting connection once again we find in this region, in this case Israel, and their goals in the region. And of course, we know their goals. So it is within their foreign policy uh, agenda that they would support ISIS and or Al Qaeda as much as they can, and they are doing so. So apparently, as we knew, they have special forces in the field just like everyone else in Iraq and Syria, and they also have airstrikes going on, and the official number being 18, but unofficially, I'm sure it's much larger than that. But it also fits into the Israeli agenda of dismantling all the regimes that could challenge it in the region. Iraq being one that has been dismantled already, and now Syria. And Israel would rather live with an extremist government that is, at least at this juncture, less powerful, like we have in Iraq, and we're going to end up with in Syria. They'd rather have them dismantled and destabilized than have them be organized, effectively ruled challenges to Israeli policy in the region. And it also fits into plans that everyone, once again, in the alternative press and useful idiot video watchers know about plans for a greater Israel and the opportunity that perhaps if Syria is brought to enough chaos and dismantling, then land grabs can be made and some dreams of a greater Israel can be realized. But other players in the region, like Kurdistan, also have their eyes on perhaps coming out with some land in the chaos that's going on in these regions. But let's make no mistake about it. We have a number of interesting players like Saudi Arabia and Turkey who support ISIS. We have the United States who helped create and support ISIS. All these countries actually contributed in creating and supporting ISIS, almost to an equal extent, with Saudi Arabia, Israel, the United States, and Turkey. And it's been no secret to anybody that's been paying attention. And so anyway, there we have it. Israel, the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Syria that nobody really wants to talk about, but they're in there too. I'm a Useful Idiot. Don't you be one too.